Well, Tracy's mom is marrying my dad. Tony drove. Nicoletta's jealous.
Hi, I'm Tracy.
Hi, Mamie Claire.
Nicolette.
Mamie Claire.
I'm Tony. Oh, wait, no, don't tell me, Mamie Claire.
Well, Grandma, what did you think of Mistress America?
Well, once again, I was introduced to a world that I know nothing about. And I appreciate the movie makers for taking me on that adventure with Mistress America and her, well, I'm not sure what to call them. Friends, colleagues, compatriots, supporters. What I think I really admire the most is the writers. The writers of the dialogue. They, and the actors, of course, especially our lead actress.
Now, who would you call the lead actress in this? Which
Brooke.
character?
Brooke.
Because I actually thought that while she was, in a way, the centerpiece, that the main character was really the young college student
Who was writing about her.
Who was writing about her and
fell in love with her.
And was narrating the...
Well, you're right. That is, you know, if you're going to put them in those niches, that is correct. Brooke was the focus, but she wasn't the leading character.
Right.
But back to my point about the writing, the words that flowed out of every character. In this world, I think you are led to assume this was natural. This was the way folks communicate. It was a little bit, I kept wanting to say, oh, wait a minute. Did you hear what you just said? You know, and kind of pull them up a little.
Well, in what way? Why?
Well, some of the things they said to each other were just outrageous. And polite folks don't treat people like that. At least in the world that I live in. You don't say those things and expect anything but a negative reaction, you know, a positive reaction, or even a reaction. I don't know. What did you think about it?
You meant about the writing or the whole thing?
Well, the whole thing. Start with the whole thing, because the writing was what really I was impressed with.
Well, I was not that impressed with the film. I like Greta Gerwig, the one who played Brooke. She's a nice actress, and again, all of the actors,
very talented.
Yeah, all of the actors were very interesting. Their characters were moderately interesting, but I just think that the whole sort of situation and a great deal of their dialogue was not very interesting. They had some interesting characters and not a particularly interesting situation.
Have we seen the actress who played the college student who was doing the writing? Okay.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I kept trying to place her somewhere, and she seemed totally new.
No, she's good. I mean, all of the actors were quite good. And as far as the writing goes, a lot of it seemed, I thought, fairly natural for these characters. But that sort of made me wonder how much of it might have been improvised. That again, there might have been some of it where they maybe had an outline for the scene, and then they just sort of filled it in with the dialogue in a.
You may be right. The only other thing I was thinking was that the writers had tape recorded characters like this, you know, and the way they talk to each other, you know, and use that as a guide. But I like the improv idea even better.
Well, I think it's possible. I mean, I don't know whether that's true at all. It just seemed that way in a lot of cases. Now, again, that could be the skill of the writers. I mean, to making it seem very natural at times. At other times, it didn't seem very natural. It said, frankly, a lot of the things that Brooke was saying, it seemed like those were written. It seemed that way from my perspective. Again, you really have to find these characters appealing to be able to want to sit through it and find this actual story interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't find it that interesting.
Some of the bit characters were interesting too. You know, the ones that were just peripheral characters in the main characters' lives.
Well, again, I think what they were really trying to do, if anything, their sort of purpose was to show you this world. I mean, these sort of people in New York, this college community, and this sort of party community, you might say.
It's hard to label it. It's hard to categorize it.
Well, I mean, these young adults in New York, you know, how they're trying to survive, and how, you know, what they're doing to live and such. And then they, you know, had quite a long scene in Connecticut, and then they were showing you this people in Connecticut and the way they are and such. And you know, it was moderately interesting, but I don't think that there was anything in it that was that appealing or that it wasn't really done that well. I didn't think.
You know, one thing that bothered me, being from the older generation, was where did they get the money just to live through the several days that we observed? You know, where did the money come from?
Well, as far as Brooke goes, she was doing all sorts of different jobs. She was a tutor. She was an exercise guru or whatever. I mean, she was doing all sorts of things to survive.
Yeah.
You know, and then she was
PSAT tutoring.
Yeah. And so, you know,
I liked her little snippet of a conversation with her student about X, what X was.
X could be anything.
X, that's the problem with X.
Yeah.
Yes. But she had not done well enough on her own SAT to be an SAT tutor. That was another interesting little detail. Okay.
All of the actors in here I thought were quite good. I just don't know that they were given enough.
Not so much to work
to
with.
do. Yeah, I mean they didn't have a lot of good stuff to work with. I just don't think. So I would not. I would, even if you're a Greta Gerwig fan, I don't know that I would even recommend it. But
no thumbs up for me.
No thumbs up for you either.
No thumbs up.
Oh, okay. Save your thumbs for another day.
I will save my thumbs for you. Well, it's not a bad movie. I'll thumb sideways. How's that?
Yeah, I would say that too. I would say it's not a bad movie. It's just it was not that good either.
Right.
Okay. Well,
not that good. Sorry, folks.
They can't all be winners.
I guess they can.